How are we doing, folks? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. I've got an album review for you, and we're talking about Belly of the Beast by Joe Lynn Turner. Now, I've got to admit, I wasn't that familiar with Joe Lynn Turner's work. I know him from Rainbow, and I know he did the one album with Deep Purple. Never really went beyond that. It's since looking into it, I know he sung with a Yngwie Malmsteen, I think that's how you pronounce it, and he's got quite a long list of solo albums actually. But from what I understand, so far it's been pretty, straight ahead classic rock music with a bit of an AOR tinge, and this one he's sort of gone full metal. He's got Peter Tegrin, I think it is. I've never said his name out loud. I know it. I recognise it when I see it, but let me try that one a bit. Tegren, I think that is Peter Tegren from Hypocrisy, Pain, Bloodbath, and a production list as long as your arm. Let's go through the credits here actually. So it looks like he's produced it as well. Has he produced it? Yes, he's produced it. Done guitar, bass, and programming. I did think where I read originally programming, I thought there was no drums on it, but it turns out it is. Funny enough, his son that drums on the album. And looking into him, he also drums now in Pain and Hypocrisy, in the live band at least. And, even drumming in either of those bands on a bad day, you can't be a slouch. And Mr. Love Magnusson, I think that is, on lead guitar. So that's the team behind this. And it's got a bit of a... With Peter producing it, it's got that sonic... It's not going to be straightforward. It's not just death metal. He's got that industrial tinge to it as well, but got real sonic sort of heavy guitars. Not, death metal by any means, but it's got that punch, Cool photo there of Joe. And I hate snakes, so I'm going to put that back. It's just a really good, catchy, melodic album. Really good hooks, really good songs, good melodic... I've said that already, haven't I? Good songs that stick in your head is what I'm saying. Memorable, that's the word I'm looking for. And lyrically as well, it's on point. I see Joe's getting a bit of a kicking on Blabbermouth at the moment, but regular viewers of this channel knows I'm disgusted with 99% of the metal, rock and punk scene. When the real thing come along, they all fucking bottled it. Let's leave it at that. But into the music. Belly of the Beast, the opening track, is paints like a good sort of apocalyptic picture, really. And then it's got the same sort of theme running through it. Black Sun starts off with like this cool little sort of organ, and then kicks into this sort of mid-paced groove. I'll tell you what's really good about this album actually is before I get into the songs. Each song I think on this could easily be an album, a concert opener, like playing live. I think he could open with any of these songs. The album flows beautifully from track to track, and like from in terms of tempo, in terms of paces of the song, in terms of atmosphere of the song. But each song individually stands up on its own. It could be like a single or something like that, and I think. Picturing like the live gig, I think any of these songs could serve well as an opener. But Black Sun's got a nice cool sing along, sort of chant along chorus, and you're seeing that repeated quite regularly through the album. Tortured Soul is quite anthemic as well. I'll tell you what Tortured Soul reminds me of. It reminds me of the sort of later day Accept albums with what's his name? TJ Quick singer. Help me out. Put his name in the comments. It'll come to me in a minute. I'll just blurt his name out. The guy that's now the singer in Accept. He's done the last four or so albums. I want to say Peter something as well, but that's going to bug me. But anyway, Tortured Soul reminds me of something that could have come along one of those later albums, especially in the verses where it's quite dark and Joe's singing quite low. Rise Up is a really good this could be a single. It starts off with this nice cool sort of This nice, like, sort of atmospheric, dark piano introduction. Because it reminded me a little bit that little intro there could have been on a Gary Newman album. Quite of one of the later sort of post 2000 Gary Newman albums. And it's got a bit of an industrial sort of tinge to it. It's very European sounding, Rise Up. During the chorus, it's sort of got that sort of fast paced, and then it's got like a subtle kind of keyboards during the chorus. Dark Night is a cool ballad, first ballad on the album, and that brought to mind the sort of Tony Martin era of Black Sabbath. Something they kind of, especially around Headless Cross and Tyre, they kind of took on like a gothic Whitesnake in a way. But it's a powerful song, and yeah, it brings to mind one of the slower songs that would have come off of one of those albums. I think it works quite well. Tears of Blood is my favourite song on the album, I think. It's my favourite at the moment, and it is a fucking tune, it's got to be said. Especially the... it's got this really cool riff that... and he just coldly delivers the line, "Give me a kiss like Judas," before kicking into the Tears of Blood chorus, where it just sort of brings everything up in terms of it's just got for quite a dark song, it's got quite an uplifting chorus in a dark kind of way. Desire has sort of got like a mid-pace stomp to it, which is just sort of kicks along. I mean, if you're a fan of Pain, I think you're going to be happy with this album. But that's got a bit of an industrial backing as well, especially during the chorus. Nice opening keyboard riff, kind of similar to Nightwish in a way, on Don't Fear the Dark. Fallen World's got really another sort of anthemic sing-along chorus. Again, that reminds me of Later Day Accept, and I would say as well, I think this would be quite well suited to Alice Cooper, especially on some of his sort of darker, heavier albums in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s. Think Wicked World. No, sorry, not Wicked World. Brutal Planet. And what was the one afterwards? My memory's just gone today. But you know that type of thing where he kind of embraced sort of nu metal in a little way. Brutal Planet. Is it Dirty Diamonds? There's one after that, wasn't it? You know what I'm getting at. So, Living the Dream is another really catchy number, actually. I thought this one could be suited quite well as a single. It's got a bit of a bit more upbeat feel to it with the main riff going through it. Really good. It's kind of, I say, it's got that sort of that melodic European feel to it, but really catchy as well. Quite upbeat. Requiem as well. Have I got Mr. No, yeah, Requiem. It's a bit of a not down, yeah, kind of like a downbeat, but kind of slower paced track, which is it's kind of bleak. It's more keyboard led than guitar led, like the rest of the album, but it's a good closer. And yeah, overall, there's not a bad song on this. It flows quite nicely. It's 50 minutes in total, but effortless listen. And after a few listens, these songs are going to be haunting you in your sleep. You'll be getting a different chorus stuck in your head every day. I think, like I say, I've not been that big a fan of Joe in the past. I've always always known who he was and respected him for what he's done. But this is the first thing I've bought of his solo work, and the first thing I've bought really outside of Rainbow. And it's made me want to go back and check out his other solo albums. And from what I gather, this is a bit of a turning point for him. This is like the first full metal album he's done. But I think he's onto a winning formula. He's got a good team behind him, and if he carries on like this, I can't see it doing him much harm. I think he's gone on a heavier turn on this album, but it's not. I can't see this being off-putting the long-term fans, it's still just as melodic, just as catchy as what I would expect his older albums to do. But you know, with his Rainbow material, it's the only thing I can really compare it to. But yeah, I think he's found a balance really, where he could pick up new fans as well as retain his current fans. You know, and I'd definitely be up for seeing him live on this tour if he comes to the UK, and hopefully he chucks a few Rainbow numbers in there as well. But I'll be definitely looking into his older albums to see what else he's been up to. So yeah, a new one for me, and a nice surprise. So yeah, definitely check this album out if you're into a bit more melodic, bit more catchy, you know, classic rock come metal. Definitely worth checking out. And yeah, and I'm definitely up for supporting one of the braver artists out there. So more reviews coming, and I've got a guest coming up in the week. We're going to be doing a retrospective. So thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you all later. Take care.